I, for me, it really was, it goes back to getting a promotion and working very, very hard for that promotion. And then the minute I had the promotion, I was like, on to the next. Couldn't even reap the reward of it. It was just like consistently chasing. And I remember someone saying to me, the goalpost will always move. And it just stuck with me. And when we had the conversation and I asked you, I remember asking you, like, how do we ever feel fulfilled with that? And you said, I think it is to be more grateful. And it opened up my eyes to my recent trip to South Africa. And, before I went away, like, life's never easy. We go through the motions. I was going for a particularly difficult time anyway, but I had a roof over my head, a great partner, family close by. I had money. I could afford things. I was, to anyone, the average Joe, doing pretty well. But I still felt like there was something missing. Like, how can I not be grateful for what I have? It's just become my everyday. It's mundane. It's life to life. I expect to wake up every day and have what I have because it is what it is. Went to South Africa, came back, and for the first time ever, I was like, I feel lucky just being born where I am. I feel grateful that I get to wake up this morning and have the opportunities I have presented to me. Everything I had taken for granted before, I was starting to feel grateful for. And I really think it was stepping outside of my bubble and my day to day that helped me to see that. And I know we speak a lot about how to practice gratitude is to write down, 3 or 5 things every day that you love, things that went well that day. And I've started to do that, and I like it because it will be a reminder to come back and look on, because it's quite easy to forget what happened in the last 6 months. I forget what happened for dinner last night, let alone the last 6 months of my year, to see how far you've come. But really, it was, like I say, stepping out of my comfort zone and then coming back and getting that perspective. And I feel like I'm happy with more. And I'm like, it really did change everything for me. Sounds
Amazing.
dramatic.
Well, no, it's not really. It's beautiful. It's because I think quite often we can talk about a lot of things, we can read about a lot of things. It's only when we put things in practice. Um, so all of the things that we've talked about, we can talk about these concepts, but until this path is very experiential, you've got to be ready to face some of these demons. You got to be ready to put in some hours and practices and put in the time on the mat, as they say, um, to see the changes. And when we do, I think uh, I would say people are always surprised how quickly things start to shift. At least at some of the core things shift pretty quickly. So beautiful. Yeah, no, it feels great to hear like that part of you, and that it had that impact.
Yeah. And it feels really comfortable to share it with you. So I'm super grateful for your time. I wondered before we go, if there was anything, something like maybe a book recommendation or a podcast or an action to leave the audience with today. If someone's feeling like this inspired me, but what's going to motivate me next to take the next action and work towards something, does something come to mind?
I was gonna actually say, the gratitude part. I can, like, the framework for the gratitude that might be useful for your audience that I use, which is slightly different from how most people talk about gratitude. Mostly when we talk about gratitude, it's like, oh, I'm grateful to be alive. I'm grateful that I'm breathing. I'm grateful for blah, blah, blah. Or I'm grateful for a person, right? Which is good, which is good. I think I go one step further in that, talk about who you're grateful for. So, I'm grateful for, let's say, my trip to South Africa, right? But after that, add how that thing or that person made you feel. Because what that does is it puts you in that moment when you're writing, when you're thinking how it made you feel, you're reliving that moment. And when you're reliving that moment, you're in the frequency of gratitude. And when you're in the frequency of gratitude, you're transmitting it to the world, right? So adding, I am grateful for my trip to South Africa. It had me feel my life is abundant. It had me feel love. it had me feel free. So as soon as you talk about those emotions and how it feels, you're reliving those emotions and you're transmitting it to people around you, you know?
I
So
love
that's
that.
one simple tweak
Mm,
to gratitude is
yeah,
hopefully that's a good offer.
I love that.